hit the pause for more time to read this. It is important.
Hey gang, Pastor Duncan here. This is the Maisel Duncan page. You can also watch on the Nuga page. This is Miss Judge Statom, and I always butcher your first name. It's Lila. And Lila is a Red Bank alumni, and so it's going to be interesting to hear her story, and I hope you guys will support her.
I don't think so. She seems to believe that she's there to rule people, and she doesn't seem to appreciate if someone exercises their rights under the Declaration of Independence and constitutions also.
She's running for re-election, and you'll hear more about that in just a few minutes. We got to get ready for the show, so if you'll just hang on, we'll be right back. We got that one up.
Church, a 26-year-old Desir Baganda allegedly pulled a gun. He walked up to the pulpit and demanded that everyone stay still. An assistant pastor worked his way around Mr. Baganda and wrestled the gun from his hands. Mr. Baganda now faces 15 counts of felony aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and the police say other counts are pending. Russell Stratton, Radio
I meant to have a word of prayer with you. I pray. Heavenly Father, I pray that you just bless her, Lord, as she's going for a big step, Lord. And I pray she goes even larger than this judgeship, Lord, in the days ahead. Protect her and provide. In your name, amen.
Well, I guess I'd say that every Satanist could use all of that might be available to them, for sure.
Your Church of Christ background, right? Church of Christ background. Okay. Hey friends, how are you doing? This is Pastor Duncan with the Patriot Pastor Show. I have got a special guest in the house, and she is Miss Lila. Hey, we had the volumes turned down. Can you hear that?
You did it again, Lila.
Lila, it is Lila Statom, and she is a judge, so I've got to be on my best behavior here today. Is that right?
Yes, definitely, yes.
If the intimidation has worked and you're not an ADA doing fraud in the hallway, then if you are a sheriff's deputy that just arrested a citizen after the supposed judge dismissed the very same charges 6 weeks previous, your behavior will be just fine. And should Sergeant Gregory Carson steal your lawful notice tag from your car, and Kane's Wrecker Service then come out and steal the rest of the car, don't bother asking Judge Lila Statom for help or to do the right thing. The attempt to deprive the people of their common law courts is the exact misery and despotism that caused the American Revolution.
General Dunn or Damascus, I don't know which person is here on this. So, sir in the khaki shirt, if you'll come to the yellow spot in the front.
I retain all my rights and don't waive any before I cross this bar.
Right now, you're going to let me talk, okay? Your case was set on the 130 docket because that's a settlement docket, and I take it that you don't want to settle your case. Is that correct?
No, there is no case. It's void ab initio.
Sir, answer my questions. It's yes or no. You don't want to settle your case, correct?
No, it's void.
Okay. Well, it's not void.
I'm not sure who the gentleman is. I asked for Mr. Parker in the hallway, and he would not identify himself.
Okay. Sir, whether you identify as Mr. Parker or not, that's the name that you were charged under. Is that correct?
That's the name y'all wrote down.
Okay. and you were present when that name was written down, correct?
I guess, I don't know.
Okay. Okay, so he's the individual that this officer arrested.
No, I'm not that,
You will not
I'm
talk
not
when I
that.
talk. Now, the next step is, I guess this needs to be set for a preliminary hearing, is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
And so let's pick a date. You don't want that this afternoon, I trust.
I think I could probably do it pretty quick, just to be honest with you. I'm
Okay.
happy to reset.
So the gentleman that has been charged is Mr. Parker. This is an afternoon docket. The afternoon dockets in this courthouse are settlement only. My understanding is you wish to have a preliminary hearing. Actually, you wish to say this is void and
It
you
is
should not be
void, and
charged.
I've challenged the
Okay, but
jurisdiction of this
within-
court, the
okay.
DA's office, his office, sheriff's office. Nobody's claimed any jurisdiction or authority over me.
Stop talking when I'm talking. That's what you do in a hearing. And so, if you want, are you going to have a lawyer to represent you?
No,
Okay, so we can do your hearing today, right now, or we can do your preliminary hearing on a morning docket where we're supposed to have them done. So do you choose this afternoon or another morning?
I
Those are
choose
your
this
only
stuff to be
choices.
dismissed because it's void,
Okay.
but if I have any, I need more time so I can put more paperwork, because I got claims against this gentleman over here
Okay.
for the crimes he
Well,
committed against
I'm not gonna give
me.
you more time for claims. Because that's in a
Well,
civil court. I'm
ah,
a criminal court.
yeah.
But I will. say
Criminal
this for a
claims, not
hearing.
civil claims.
Okay, so listen to me at this moment, okay? The next time you come into my courtroom, it will be for a preliminary hearing. You should be ready for that hearing with a lawyer or ready to represent yourself, okay? Those will be your only two choices. You will have a preliminary hearing. You will either represent yourself or have a lawyer. Those are the questions I'm going to ask you at that date, okay? Now, let's pick a date that everybody is available for this hearing. For hearing. This is Trooper Herring, who's going to tell us if this is a good date. 1513 is what you're looking at. And it will be an 8:30 date.
Is anybody making any claim of any authority or jurisdiction? It's been over 3 months and I had not run a response to any of that. And I think y'all have a duty to answer those.
Sir, we do not have a duty to do anything until we are in a hearing. And we're not in a hearing now. You can, I know you filed the motion, I will hear the motion.
I didn't file no
before your
motions.
hearing. Will you
It's a
file
demand.
something?
It's a demand.
A demand for
jurisdiction. And nobody's
that
claimed any.
means it's a motion, I will treat it as a motion.
No,
and
it's
I'll
not a
hear it
motion,
on
it's a
that day.
demand. That's the difference.
That will work for you, August 24th, 8:30, courtroom 3? Yes, Your Honor. Okay, August 24th, 8:30, courtroom 3. And sir, that will be your hearing date, okay? I will see you on that date, prepared for your hearing. Thank you, you may exit my courtroom.
All right.
Now, Miss Lila and I went to Red Bank High School, and Red Bank is known for. What's the one thing TV shows get wrong about portraying a prosecutor?
Well, from my experience, and I had almost 24 years of experience as an assistant DA before I became a judge, I believe, for the most part, some TV shows give people a bad rap, but the job of the district attorney is to be the first judge of a case, to do what is just and what is right in a case. And if someone is not guilty, they should not prosecute the case. If you go back through the case law, even in the 1800s, that's what the initial role of the district attorney was, to do what was right, to do what was just, to protect all the citizens in this state.
I'll be back after the break. We've got Judge Statom in the house, and we're going to talk about some things about judicial issues, maybe, and she's running for re-election. You might want to pay attention to this so you can make a wise choice. And you're over at the mental health court. Am I correct in that?
Okay, yes, and that's yet another thing that I do. Myself and Judge McVeigh have recovery courts here in Hamilton County at the General Sessions level. Now, there are also recovery courts at the criminal court level. But I have the mental health court that I am the presiding judge over. And that is for individuals that are already justice involved. They're in the criminal system. And I can go a little bit further about that and tell you a bit about that. A lot of times when people hear mental health court, they think, oh, somebody's claiming to be mentally ill to get away with the crime that they've committed. It's not that sort of situation. In mental health court, particularly in General Sessions Court, we handle the lower level crimes of justice involved people. I'll give you an example. I had an individual who, on a routine basis, was arrested for disorderly conduct by the police downtown. He was severely mentally ill, had never had any help in years. I said never had any help, but it had been years because he was homeless and his family didn't know where he was. And so when he got into the system, we discovered that he really needed further help, and it was really just costing the taxpayers lots and lots of money because he was cycling in and out of jail, and every time someone comes into jail, it costs the taxpayers money. And so he was able, his attorney helped, and he was able to get into mental health court. In mental health court, we try to take care of housing for the individuals, get them stabilized on medicine. They're assigned a
Do you mean
caseworker
hook them up on dope?
at a particular facility that they go to on a regular basis. And then we also have a case manager in the mental health court. And so it helps individuals not to cycle in and out of the system and put a drain on our system.
I'm a fair judge. I do my best to be fair. Is there anything you do to kind of bring that fair mentality to your mind so you can do a judgeship that's reasonable?
Well, one of the things I always say is my time as a district attorney, an assistant district attorney, helped train me to be the best judge. I was an assistant district attorney for 24 years, and frankly, the assistant district attorneys are the first judges of the facts because they look at the case and determine if this case should even proceed at all. And so I had lots of training in those 24 years. In addition to that, I pray every morning that I will have wisdom.
According to this, the court is only to rule on the sufficiency of the proof.
If I want to vote in the midterms?
Well, I think, first off, we have the privilege of being able to vote, and that everyone should vote. Our forefathers fought so we would have the right to vote and to select our elected officials. The other thing I would say is become informed. Come down to the courthouse. Now, a lot of the courts were closed for a long period of time due to COVID, and we still limit the amount of people in the courtroom, but come down. We have, right now, I've had, for the last, I think they started about 2 weeks ago, court watchers coming into court to watch and to see what's going on. Come down there, listen to the judges that you're going to vote for. See if they are following the law. See if they're doing what you believe is right and fair. I think young people should inform themselves, and definitely they should vote. It is so important that we vote for our officials.
Now, every now and then you get a judge that kind of shows himself from the bench, and I'll go ahead and call one out, Sullivan, on the Michael Flynn case, when the Justice Department had already dropped the charges, had already been, but he would not drop the case, and for the first time he brought in the other judge. Every now and then you get a guy that just steps across the line and makes all you guys look bad. To judges that maybe are tempted to take matters away from the law and become a little, because there are some, and you know that. Have you got a word for them to say, hey, follow the law and obey the law?
Thankfully, I believe the judges in Hamilton County are phenomenal. We have a great bench. Everyone works very hard in our county to do what is right and just. And that's what's so difficult, I think, for judges not to bow to political pressures. But thankfully, we swear to take an oath that we will follow the law to the best of our abilities. And I believe that is happening. And I think oftentimes we need to always remind ourselves that we need to do what we promised to do, what we swore to do, and follow the law.
This would just be a great place for you guys to start.
What would be your word to a young person out there listening right now or watching this replay on Facebook or something, and they're saying, hey, there's a lady judge, I might want to be a judge? What would be your word of encouragement to a young person?
Okay. Well, my word of encouragement is prepare. Prepare for that day. Right now, so many people are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever's out there, and they don't think about their future. Think about your future when you're young.
Don't make silly statements, you mean?
Yes. Prepare for the day that you're going to be an adult, and that somebody might look back and think about what you said or done on Facebook. Think about that day. Then prepare yourself. We allow people to sit with us. I've had students come and sit by me on the bench.
Oh, really?
Research, yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Research and see. You can call down to the General Sessions Court office and talk to our secretary. We do some screening, not just everyone can come and sit, but prepare yourself. Come down there, see if it's something that you're interested in, and then start working toward doing well in school. And then you'll have the opportunity to go to law school, and then, you know, as you work as a lawyer, if you work hard and you prepare yourself, you too could be a judge. The main important thing I see is try to do internships. Try to prepare yourself in any way possible for your future.
Well, you heard it there. If you're a young person and you've got the aspirations of legalness, if you will, that's not a word, but be a lawyer, a judge, you want to go down, get to know this.
This is an afternoon docket. The afternoon dockets in this courthouse are settlement only.
We'll be back after this break, and I appreciate we have a judge in the house. And I've got a question before we get back. Hey, you guys like and share this so we can help Lila get reelected, all right? The one on the Nougat page is going to have the commercials, but this one, here's what we're saying like right now. So, you got anything you want to say to folks off camera? She's being very careful what she says, which I don't blame her. Hey guys, this is Pastor Duncan with the Patriot Pastor Hour on 96.9 FM. Well, we were, as we were exiting, we were talking about young people, Lila, wanting to be a judge or maybe be in the legal system. I was noticing you are president of the judges.
Okay, well,
What's
I
that
am
about?
president of the General Sessions Judges Conference, and so I think it's just a lot more work, but I'm very thankful to have that. We have been blessed. Judge Gary Sarnes was the president of the conference, I think it was 2 years ago. And so we've been blessed in this area to have two presidents in recent times. But basically, we're responsible for keeping the judges across the state informed of laws that are being considered, what might be important for us as judges to see that the legislators know what our thoughts are. And so it's a really great position to have, and I'm so honored to have been voted by my colleagues into that position.
Well, Gary's got an impeccable record. I've always heard great things about Gary. So he's like you said, yeah, two great folks from our area. I just want to ask you, as you're running for re-election, we were talking, there's something historic in this midterm election. One is sheriff. You like my hat? I'm not running for sheriff. It's a Harley hat. Okay. But we got, a mayor, sheriff, and district attorney?
Right, and the interesting part of that, two of those positions are actually going to be vacant positions. The mayor and the sheriff, and I don't know if that's happened in recent years where both of those positions are available at the same time.
Now, I like that both guys leave, and I hate that. Sheriff Jim just spoke we had a ride for the hungry. We had a ride on our motorcycles, and he's a good guy, and his wife.
Go. Do not get stupid. Four 12, start calling down. We got it. 412. I didn't even do nothing. Watch your hands. Put your legs down. Put your legs down. Quit moving your legs. Quit moving your legs. Put your legs down. Put them down now. Put your legs down. Put your legs straight out. Put your legs down. Down. Put them down. Put them down straight. Stop kicking. Stop kicking. Put your legs out straight. Wait. Please stop. Put your legs down. Relax. We're still for it. Put them down. Put your legs down. Please stop. Move your legs. You're about to kill me. Hang on, we need some. The Collinsville's got some shackles. You're about to kill me. Don't get me. Stop. Stop.
Jeannie is the best. What a godly lady. So as we're going forward, it's of my opinion, if I had to pick of the three, the sheriff is the most important in my opinion, because you need a good sheriff, because sheriffs have a lot of unchecked authority in a county, unlike in a city where they have to answer more through things. But I will tell you this, I got a text last night, I'm not allowed to tell you, but you may already know, but we won't say on the air. A friend of mine is running for mayor and talking about slam dunk, awesome, cool for Hamilton County. When he's prepared, I will announce his name, but I think that's going to change the race. 2 or 3 folks will drop out immediately. They can't beat this guy. But as we look at moving forward, I was going to ask you, Jamie Hall is a friend of mine, and she has a group called Tennessee Neighbors. It's probably the fastest growing citizens group. Several of them have now been attending my church, and they're passionate about their country. And if I could say one thing, I think Lila, that they want is integrity. They feel like there's been dishonesty in elections and dishonesty in media, dishonesty in the medical, however you want to spin it. But what would be your word? You're a judge, you're a community leader. What would be maybe your word on integrity? Because that's what you deal with, right? People that lie and tell the truth. Do you sense what I'm saying?
One of the things that I am so thankful for here in Hamilton County, I believe that we do have integrity in our elections. We are so blessed. And that is so important that it remain that way. I am so thankful for the people here in Hamilton County that run the election commission. It is a tight ship as far as I can tell. We're very blessed about that.
Well, there's a lady in our hog group, and her name escapes me, but she's going to shoot me tonight at our hog meeting at Harley-Davidson. But she is one of those and she's very emphatic that they really do their best. She goes, now mistakes can happen, but she said in Hamilton County, they really feel. But there is a gentleman at the Tennessee Neighbors that's doing research. He's petitioned, and he's claiming there's 14 to 15,000 in the last election that were flipped from Trump to Biden to help his general election numbers. They weren't, it didn't affect the outcome in the down ballots here in Hamilton County. But my point is there's people out there, they're doubting, and I just want to tell people out there, I believe in this lady, and I believe in her values. She's a good, strong Christian lady. I pray you'll go out and vote. Even if you're skeptical of the voting system, we still have to vote. Wouldn't you agree? Even if you're skeptical, we still have to go out and vote.
Everybody must vote. We can't complain if we don't vote. So please get out and vote and become informed about who you should vote for, because it's so important who is in charge, who rules.
Well, I'll tell you, there's been a few times I've been in line, and especially in presidential elections because you have to wait. And in line, people will say, hey, Pastor, who you voting for? And I said, well, I'll tell you who I'm not telling you how to vote, but I'm surprised at the people, especially judgeships. They get so caught up in who's running for president and maybe governor and senator and congressman, they don't down ballot research. And I think that's sad. But I have to tell them stuff. But that's why I'm having you on today. Research about this lady so you'll support her.
And also make sure that you vote and fill in your entire ballot, because there's going to be a lot on the ballot, and make sure that you vote for all the races that are present. Don't just vote for the top one or two. Don't just go and vote, say, for sheriff or district attorney or mayor, but actually fill the front page out and turn it over to the back if there is a back, which I bet there will be. Make sure you vote all the way down the ballot.
Is there any issues coming up in August 4th we need to know about?
Not that I really know, other than you need to get out and vote for sure. One of the things that I did want to talk about is the fact that I do have a website, and it's judgelila.com, and it'll tell you all about me, and you can learn more about what I stand for. And in addition to that, I implore you to come to the courthouse and see what is going on in the courthouse.
This is Hamilton County Sessions Court, August 24th, 2021, and it is supposedly a probable cause hearing, I suppose, for Gregory Parker in his most recent false arrest. I believe the date of that was back in March of 2021. But let's get to it and see how it goes.
I'm here on that matter.
Yeah, I'm at the courthouse this morning. When I need you outside.
Ma'am, we're not allowed in yet.
She's my witness. She's coming
Okay,
with
call the
me.
witness in later.
Well, then she can come in when...
No, sir.
I'll come in when she can come in, then.
Okay,
If you're not ready for me, then you're not ready for
Ma'am,
me.
let me tell you what's gonna happen. We're not having a disorder today. because you disrupted
I
our
come with
courtroom. You can't come in. Have a seat. You go in.
I'm not going in without my witness. She's here to witness the fraud in this court. If I can't bring in my witness, I'm not coming in the court.
You don't bring in the witness until she calls.
Well, okay, then she's not ready for me. When she calls for me, I'll go in then. Like I said, I ain't. I'm in there and try to fucking railroad me around. She ain't ready for me. There ain't no reason I can't sit out here just like I'm sitting fucking there. Come on. Oh, excuse me.
You walk up to the stand. You have a seat in the back.
She walks up with me.
No,
She's
she
my
don't.
witness. Yes,
No,
she is.
no, you're
Yes,
not.
she is.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Go that way.
I'm in my damn
Go that way.
Don't be pushing on me.
Go this way.
Why you assaulting me? Get your hands off of me.
Sir, move out the
I
way.
do not consent with this bullshit anyhow. Don't be pushing me around.
That's my camera.
Yeah, that's my witness.
You need to approach the bench,
Yeah.
sir.
The state's asking for the rule, and then she has to step out, okay, until she's called. Okay, ma'am, if you'll stand right there.
Can you tell her not to touch me?
No, don't.
And just don't walk into her arm, okay? Okay, hold everything. I need everybody to stay right where they are for 1 minute. Can you put us on the record? Okay. For the record, this is State of Tennessee versus Gregory Justin Parker, case number 1834881, where he's charged with the offense of evading arrest, 8-2, reckless endangerment, 8-3, resisting, 8-4, driving on a revoked, 8-6, speeding, 8-7, reckless driving, 8-8, registration, 8-9, texting while driving, 9-0, failure to use due care, 9-1, driving without a license, 9-2, driving without insurance, 9-3, registration violation, and 9-5, retaliation. All witnesses that are going to testify, you said you're going to testify, ma'am.
She's here to witness the proceedings.
Okay, are you going to testify? If you're not, you're going to leave the courtroom.
She's here to witness the proceedings.
Sir, you're not being talked to.
We are not having any witnesses of proceedings now due to COVID regulations.
What's all these other people in here?
Victims or witnesses in the courtroom. And so if you're going to testify, raise your right hand. If not, okay, then you need to step outside. Sir, if you'll step forward. Right
Before I cross this bar, I waive no rights and I retain all my rights.
Okay, step forward. Step forward. Okay, now, sir, before we start this hearing, I need you to tell me whether or not you have an attorney to represent you. Do you
I
have
don't
an
have an
attorney?
attorney. I have no need for one.
Now, do you wish me to appoint you an attorney
No.
for this preliminary hearing? If you don't wish to have an attorney, I need you to waive your right
I'm not
to
waiving
have
any
an
rights.
attorney. Okay, well, you either will have an attorney or you will waive your right
I
to
will
an
not
attorney.
accept an attorney and I will not waive any rights either.
Okay.
I have the
then I'm
right to
going
be here as
appoint
myself
an
through
attorney
jurors.
to represent you today.
I do not
will
accept
appoint the public
representation. I do not
defender
need
to represent-
representation.
Do not talk.
I am
when
competent.
talk.
Quiet, sir.
Okay? I'm going to appoint the public defender. He does not want anybody to represent him, but since he refuses to waive his right to an attorney, I am appointing an attorney only as an armchair counsel for this
I do not
hearing.
accept that.
Do you
Do not
wish to
consent to
talk
it.
to your attorney that I've appointed for
No.
you?
I do
Okay.
not accept him to speak a word on my behalf either.
Okay. I'm just going to have one of the public defenders
Will be available, Judge.
that be available to
So
him.
we're just gonna hear in case you have any
I
questions.
don't
Okay.
have no use for you.
Okay, he has no use for the public defender, but since any
I am
reviewing
competent.
court that looks at this will understand, I am appointing him a public defender as an
Against my
armchair
will
since
and
he
against my
refuses
consent.
To waive his right. Now, sir, if you at some point decide to testify in this hearing, I assume you would like a jury trial, is that correct?
Yes, it's the only trial I do accept is a jury trial. I do not accept these sham proceedings.
In order to get this case to criminal court, you first have the right to have a preliminary hearing, and so that's what you're about to have is your preliminary hearing. So all witnesses that are going to testify, if you will, please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you may put your hand down. Now, Mr. Parker, the way this will proceed, General Denny will ask Trooper Harry any questions. After he asks him questions, you'll have an opportunity to ask any questions that you so desire. You may ask.
Trooper Harry, if you would state your full name for the record. And are you employed with the U.S.C. Highway Patrol?
Yes, I am.
What duties are you assigned within the Highway Patrol?
Traffic patrol.
Okay, and what area of the state are you currently assigned in?
Hamilton County.
Now I'm going to direct your attention back to,
Well, it seems that according to the Supreme Court, it just creates problems for corporate courts when actual living, breathing people, real people, get into those courtrooms. Seems like a problem.
9th of this year, in the vicinity of Highway 27, somewhere around 6 p.m. Did you encounter a red Chevy truck on the highway roadway?
Yes,
I did.
Thank you.
Could you just explain the circumstances of your original encounter with this red Chevy truck?
It's very, very busy right now. During the pandemic, we had to not handle the cases who were on bond for quite a while. So it's quite backed up, but we are working tirelessly every day to get that taken care of. Our civil dockets have certainly gotten back in line because we couldn't even do the civil dockets hardly at all except online. And so they aren't quite as busy now as they were. But the criminal dockets are still very busy. I know one day last week, I think it was Judge Starnes was in the morning docket until like 5:45. So we're really, really busy. And so, but come down and see us. It is very important that you know who your elected officials are and what they stand for.
Now, I'm sorry I missed your fundraiser. You guys invited me, was that Sunday or?
It was Sunday, I think.
I'm sorry, we had we were stuffing our boxes for Operation Christmas Child, but I did go online and I read and I filled out the stuff, and it's pretty simple to do if you want to do that, but you've got to get involved, get engaged, America, because there are people listening and watching from various states. I've got some correspondence. My next guest will be actually from Virginia, Jolene Carter, who actually witnessed the red wave of vote because of the folks turning out in such number. Tomorrow I'm having on Miss New Jersey, a former Miss New Jersey, who's working with Project Veritas and watched their state still be challenged. Voting is something that not everyone's going to agree with outcomes, but if, like the judge said, if you don't vote, you really don't have you shouldn't complain. And I've got to agree. And I'll just throw in this, I would not absentee ballot vote unless I'm in ICU. Show up and vote one-on-one. If you're afraid of election fraud, most of the fraud, if there's any, seems to be with the absentee ballots. Show up. Plus, it's a great time to talk to your neighbor while you're in line. Everybody's in a rush, but we're coming up on the last 2 minutes here. Ms. Lila, what would you say to the constituents here and those watching? What's your final words for us?
My final words are, I'm thankful that you were listening today. It's very, very important, this next election that's coming up, that we all get out and vote. Inform yourself of what's going on in your community. And I agree, I always go vote early. I do early voting. I'm like, I don't want something to happen and my vote not count, me get sick or something like that on election day. So I believe you should all get out and vote early. Inform yourself. Take your children with you So they see you voting. They see how important this is. So as they grow up, they see they've had you model for them voting, because it's important who rules. It's important who's in charge. And we need to
be wary of corporations masquerading as government. Be responsible and be government by electing your agents to express your authority.
Pass this on to all of our children. I think for a time we didn't understand that that was important, but I've even taken my granddaughter with me to vote, because she needs to understand. And in all the schools now, they're voting. They may not vote for actual real persons, but they're voting like for colors, or they're voting for something so that they don't get a lot of anger in the schools, but they are taught how to vote. So bring them with you and show them what it means to be a good citizen and a steward for your county.
Well, I appreciate you being on the show, and I think that's a great idea. Take the kids and maybe even go to lunch or somewhere afterwards and let them ask questions. Those are called teachable moments. When I was a youth pastor, I tell parents, take advantage of teachable moments. If you say, I'll do with it next week, well, they're not thinking about next week. Take your kids to vote while their eyes are seeing that. Mommy, what's a voting machine? Daddy, what's this? Talk to them and prepare them for adulthood in civics. Because if you let your teachers do all the teaching, you might be disappointed. Not making fun of teachers, but don't assume they're being taught that.
And now for yet another word from our sponsor, Crush Your Traffic Ticket. And you can find much more information that is very much related to this video that you're watching. And this page points out that you may have just gotten a ticket to a $25,000 settlement. And that's even the small potatoes side of the settlement, and an excellent reason to prosecute false arrest should it happen to you. And a little bit of information about the overall con job and masquerade that's going on. And because you're not in the capacity of a driver, driving is a commercial activity that you are not doing, unless, of course, you're a professional driver. But the scam is that they want to say that you're a professional commercial driver and, falsely arrest you should they catch you using the public right-of-way. And this is for tired of people that are tired of being pushed around, and to let you know that it is that simple to live free at liberty in a country devoted to that principle. And a little mention here of why they work so hard to intimidate you, because you have the one thing that they don't, and they need it to proceed, which is lawful jurisdiction / authority, or lawful authority within their jurisdiction to dictate to you what you're going to do and how you're going to act. And you're going to run down the DMV and register your car, and you're going to get in that line, get yourself a driver's license to use the public right-of-way. And if you don't, well, they've got police and state troopers and sheriff's deputies to visit violence upon you should they catch you out using or exercising your rights, I should say. And that's your Crush Your Traffic Ticket. Gets you and explains to you how to beat all of this in court, because the truth is, and the fact is that you can most likely very easily demonstrate, is that they don't have jurisdiction authority with regard to you. So, that's what it's all about, and that's that buy button right there on the web page.